You see that map of all 50 states? Well, the map shows the longest interstate of every state. If it's red, if a state is red, that means the longest interstate is an interstate that goes north and south. If a state is blue, that means the longest interstate is an interstate that runs east and west. You see, in Alabama, Interstate 65 is the longest interstate in Alabama, but not the longest interstate in the United States. I-90 is the longest interstate of the United States of America. In Alaska, there are like different interstates, like the Interstate A-1, Interstate A1, but in 48 states, they don't have interstates like Interstate A1, Interstate H1. In Alaska, Interstate A1 was the longest. In Arizona, which borders Texas, Interstate 25 was the longest interstate in Arizona. In Arkansas, unlike Alabama, Interstate 40 was the longest interstate in Arkansas. Interstate 5, that borders Mexico and Canada, was the longest interstate highway in California. In Michigan, Interstate 75 was the longest. Comment down below what's your favorite interstate highway. Everyone comment down below what's your favorite interstate highway. In Hawaii, Interstate H1 was the longest interstate highway. Have you ever been to Hawaii or Alaska? Comment down below if you have been to these two states, Alaska and Hawaii. You see New York down there? The longest interstate should have been New York. The longest interstate should have been I-95. In Florida, some people think that I-95 was the longest interstate in Florida, but it's not true. It's Interstate 75. Same as Georgia, Interstate 75 was the longest in that state. North Carolina, Interstate 40 was the longest, and Tennessee the same. Interstate 40 was the longest. Nevada, Interstate 80 was the longest. Interstate 15 was the longest interstate of one state, one U.S. state. Interstate 95 stretches over 1,900 miles from Miami, Florida to Maine, and it borders Canada. Interstate 40 is the third longest interstate, which runs east-west. Interstate 95 runs north-south. Interstate 40 runs from North Carolina to California, which have Interstate 5 the longest. And Interstate 90 was the longest interstate in 2 or more states, and also the longest interstate in the United States of America, which stretches over approximately 3,020 miles from Seattle, Washington to Boston, Massachusetts. And Interstate 80 is the second longest interstate. That is in California and San Francisco. Interstate 10 is the fourth longest interstate. It runs from Florida, and it runs east-west. Interstate 70 is the fifth longest interstate highway. Interstate 75 should be the seventh longest interstate highway and the second longest north-south interstate highway. And I-95 is the first longest north-south interstate highway. Interstate 75 runs from Michigan to Florida. And did you know that US 1 is parallel to Interstate 95? And US Highway 20 is the longest road in the United States. There are no longer roads than US 20 in the United States. There are no roads that are longer than US Highway 20 in the United States because it's the longest road. US 20 is the longest road. And Interstate 94 is the eighth longest highway. But Interstate 94, it's not divisible by 5. The number 94 is not divisible by 5. And the 9th longest interstate highway is Interstate 35. I think that's a cool interstate. Have anyone been on Interstate 35 before? There was a junction on Interstate 40 to Interstate 35 in Oklahoma City, which is located in Oklahoma. How did you like this video? Give it a thumbs up if you liked that video. And what was your favorite interstate, your favorite highway, and what was your favorite state? And now, do you know the facts about interstates in every state now? Not in every state, but we talked about it in some states. Not all of them. As much as like Interstate 26 is the longest in South Carolina, Interstate 10 in Texas and Louisiana, and also Interstate 84 in Idaho, Washington, which is the longest interstate, is Interstate 90. Interstate 57 is the longest interstate in Illinois, and Interstate 69 is the longest in Indiana. Interstate 75 the longest in Kentucky. Bye. Have a great time.